And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger.
And there you have it from Hillary Clinton. And what she's basically describing is how Bitcoin is a threat to the dollar, and saying that Bitcoin is a threat to the global reserve currency, that being the dollar, but really the dollar is stealing your wealth. Opt out. And with that, what's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. We have a jam-packed video today, so make sure you watch this one to the end. You don't want to miss this. With some updated news, Janet Yellen says U.S. banks may tighten lending and negate the need for more rate hikes. This is important. Why are we telling you this? Why do we care? Because of all these Fed rate hikes, it's going to be harder for the average investor and average individual to be able to gain access to money to even try to invest. Try to invest in a business. We're not telling you to start a business. We're telling you to invest in your future, invest in hard assets, Bitcoin, gold, real estate. Bitcoin is going to be the fastest horse in that race. That's what we've been telling you. So basically what Yellen's saying is that banks may not have that leverage to continue just willy-nilly lend. On the flip side, that will negate the need for more rate hikes. So also that can make hard assets increase in price over time as the markets think that the Fed is going to pivot. So with that, let's hear more from Plan B. Plan B is calling for a $33,000 Bitcoin. Then what he's saying is a 60K Bitcoin per the stock to floor model valuation. But then also what he's saying is 100K to $1 million range. This is after the post-halving. This is after 2024. And we'll talk about this a little bit later on in this video. We have an update from Arthur Hayes where you don't want to miss. But another update from BTC Archive. Bitcoin has never made a new low after the monthly RSI crossed 50. Or when the monthly MACD crossed over. The bull market's here. So taking a look at this chart, what are we seeing? Every time you look at the RSI below, we come across this 50 level below. Every single time you go up to that candle, what happens? We have at least another month or two of upwards price action before we have a cool off. Every single time, 2 months for a cool off. Right now where we're at, we crossed over, and then this month currently, and then next month, before we may have a cool off, selling may and go away. That might be the mantra here. Another update from TA Trader Allen. If Bitcoin breaks out a 2-year bull flag, the ongoing moves will be huge. So every single time, going back to 2013, you see a bull flag gets formed, you have some downwards price action, some downwards sell pressure, and then a blast off. Rinse, repeat, blast off, rinse, repeat. A 6-figure Bitcoin could be around the corner. Another update from Game of Trades, but he's saying bear market might not be over with yet. We could have another year before we see, Bitcoin really rise from the ashes. What he's saying is the current levels of the bear market macro index spread have marked major market declines since 74, the 90s, 2000s, and 2008. Every time you get back above this red level here and it spikes out and peaks out, afterwards, fall down, and then you have a minor fall down. You can't really see them back here, but as you see, in 2023, we could see a major downtrend / crash of the SPX. And as promised, we have an update from Arthur Hayes, and he's giving you his test case on what he sees for crypto and what exactly is going to happen in the crypto market. It's some good stuff. You don't want to miss it. Taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart, we do see that we have been just sort of going on an upwards trend. Downtrend has broken. Zooming into the price action, we have seen that the EMAs are curling up, and we could get that buy signal on the weekly, which is going to be bullish for Bitcoin. Looking at the RSI, we're right up to that 70 level, so we put a higher high in from this previous peak right here, back towards the 2021 peak before we sort of fell off a cliff. So right now we're breaking this downtrend 100%. We're going to be in the overbought territory. inventory? How long will Bitcoin go? And will the bull market continue? The Bitcoin bros are saying yes. So we have Janet Yellen and what she's saying. You know, the banks are going to tighten up on lending, but let's hear from Arthur Hayes. You want to hear more from Arthur? You can check him out at Crypto Hayes on Twitter. And Arthur has a very good temperature check and sense on what's going on in the economy and the crypto space and why Bitcoin is an asset that you need. Hard assets are what you need. You don't want to be tied up in assets such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, etc. Things that are tied to the banking system, you need to go to a hard asset. Let's hear from Arthur.
Face value of that debt. At a certain point, the money supply expands infinitely, and I don't want to have claims on this system. I don't want to be an outside money. I don't want Bitcoin, right? And that's where this trope of Bitcoin 1 million comes from. Now, while Balaji, I think, is doing a very great marketing campaign in this bet, and I don't know how much he's going to lose if he actually loses the bet. Probably nothing in the percentage of his net worth. Do I think Bitcoin's going to $1 million in 90 days? No, I do not. Do I think Bitcoin could go to $1 million in this cycle? Absolutely. And this cycle would be the next 2 to 3 years, for sure. And the reason why is, okay, yes, I know I and others say this is quantitative easing, this is money printing, this bank term funding program. But right now, all this is doing is guaranteeing the depositors get their money back. This isn't inflationary as long as depositors keep their money in the banking system. If all I'm doing is taking my deposit from Silicon Valley Bank and putting it in JP Morgan, and Silicon Valley Bank, or whoever buys it, can't originate any new loans, JP Morgan's not going to originate any new loans. JP Morgan's just going to stuff it in interest interest on excess reserves at the Fed. They're not lending any of this money out. So there's not any credit creation happening. I'm just guaranteeing losses, right? So for the time being, this is all dead money. The banking system can't expand because it's underwater, because short-term rates are too high, right? But because I've put this facility in place, either the Fed starts cutting at the next meeting, I don't think they will, but they could, or a nasty recession forces them to cut anyways in the near future. That, I believe, is my mental model is for what's going to happen. Once those rates start dropping, you have all this dry powder that's here, and then people are like, yes, okay, banking system sound, yield curve is steep again or not inverted. Game on. I'm buying everything under the sun, and banks start lending, people start buying shit, and that's when you get the massive inflationary impulse. And that's when you start seeing the real gains in Bitcoin. So while we've had this move from 15,000 to close to 30,000, 100% off the lows, I think that's just telling us the direction of travel. I think that the path to get there is going to be quite rocky. Because let's say that the Fed comes out tomorrow and they say, or by the time this airs, and it's 25 or 50 basis points hike, right? And essentially they're going to melt down the rest of the U.S. banking system by doing that over time. Then you could see a risk-off scenario and Bitcoin could get impacted and give up some of these gains. You could see Bitcoin go from 28 down to 25,000, right? And not go into this $1 million that everybody's talking about. So the path is uncertain. We know the result. The result is the Fed either hikes and crashes the banking system or cuts, saves the banking system. Either way, they're going to be cutting it eventually. And the money that they've created in this facility has created an infinite guarantee, which I think they'll expand it even further as they see more and more of these small banks. The facet of the American political system is even these flyover small bumble states have 2 senators, right? So they still have power. And if mom and pop is banging on their senator's door, like, why the fuck are you letting my bank fail? And these motherfuckers in New York are paying bonuses at JP Morgan. Guess what's happening? There's going to be a nationwide guarantee on all bank deposits.
And there you have from Arthur Hayes. You want to check out more from Arthur, you can check him out on Twitter at Crypto Hayes. Definitely has a great sense of what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the crypto space, and he just gave the reason why you need hard assets. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.